Hi everyone, this is Julian from Plush Rides, and today, this is probably my first one. Öhlins Airsprings. So I'm making this video because there's way too much time I have to spend on explaining why people are blowing through their travel. And it's very simple. I even had a discussion online where someone was trying to tell me he didn't trust my theory. And I said it's not about theories or opinions or anything, it's just how it works. And it's a bit of a pity that Öhlins doesn't explain this, because it's super crucial to the functioning of this airspring, which works beautifully, by the way. I have here a disassembled airspring, air tube, the negative chamber, shaft, the foot nut, a foot stud, top cap, ramp up piston, very important, this is what we're going to talk about, top out spacer, neck volume spacer, which I'll address a bit as well because it's apparently also a popular subject, and the piston itself, and obviously, I mean, there are seals and a valve and whatnot, but that's not that critical for now. So what we have here is the airspring. Airspring works by having a positive and a negative chamber. This one fits, well, we go like this. This is all damaged stuff, so I'm just brutally assembling this. This goes in like this. This goes in like this. And here we have the ramp up piston will be inside, and then we close this up. So what happens is we have pressure here and pressure here. This needs to be equal. This is why we have these holes, so the piston can move freely. What we then have is the ramp up piston, which sits in here, and the top out, so you don't hear it when it comes back up. So the piston itself, it's got a hole in it, you see. When you pump it up, the ramp up piston needs to be against the bottom of the piston. This will ensure the normal size for the ramp up chamber and the normal size for the main chamber, this one. When it compresses, the pressure in the main will rise significantly until it rises to a bigger rate of that in the ramp up, which will make the ramp up piston drop. It will increase the volume of the main, which will make it less progressive, more coil-like. The ramp up chamber will be smaller and the pressure will rise underneath the ramp up piston. This is how it works. What happens when you want to check your pressure of your fork, which a lot of people do, pumping up and disconnecting the pump and whatnot? It always provides insecurities, makes you doubt if that air release that you heard, was that from my shock or fork, or was that from my pump, or whatever. Depends on how deep the valve is. The valve core is in the valve and your connector of your pump, but most of the time it's just from your pump. Anyways, what happens when you check your pressure. So let's take a pump hose. This pump hose, I have it separate because it's broken. If you, this also has a certain volume, yeah? Your reader is here, and the pressure that you're reading will need to reach the reader. So this air hose has volume. This has to fill up, and then it can show you a reading. So put this next to this, which is your ramp-up chamber. I'm not saying this is just as big, but it's significant in size. If you connect this, you obviously increase the volume of the ramp-up piston chamber significantly. What happens if you do this without emptying the main? There is constant pressure on the top of this piston because of the hole, because of how it functions. So when you connect the pump here, the pressure goes away because it has to fill the hose. What happens to the piston? It drops. If the piston drops, the volume of your ramp-up chamber is smaller and the volume of your main chamber is larger. All that while the volume of your neck chamber stays the same. This will result in your problem getting worse and worse and worse, because the volume in the main rises, your support, mid-stroke support will drop yet again, and so on and so on. So this will always make your fork blow through its travel easier than normal. And you will start to raise pressure here, it'll start to feel harsh, and then you get this little story that everyone's so fond about, the neck spacer, the negative air spacer that everyone tells you to remove, which I would never do without riding and setting it up properly first. But oh well, it's the internet, huh? This is going to be on the internet now as well, so I don't know. Am I changing things? I don't know. So what you have to do, and it's critical for function, if you want to change the ramp-up pressure, always fully deflate the main. And then you can adjust the ramp-up pressure. You don't need to check your ramp-up pressure. It's silly, because you will never get a proper reading. Never, ever, ever. Because as soon as you disconnect the pump, your hose is empty. It's a different pressure than the ramp-up pressure. As soon as you connect it, it drops significantly, like 20 to 40 psi. Easy, easy. So it's never a good reading. It doesn't make any sense to check your ramp-up pressure. It only makes sense to re-inflate it. If you want to re-inflate it every ride, be my guest. Deflate the main, attach your pump, inflate it, and then inflate the main back to your desired pressure. I generally advise to use the table as on the fork, and maybe you want to bump up the ramp up with 20 psi or something, which is generally a good starting point. Leave the neck spacer in. Go ride. I think maybe this is all I can say for now. This is a totally unprepared video, and it's one shot, well, two shots, and I think I'm gonna upload it as is. If you have any questions or remarks or whatever, just let me know, and maybe I'll do more of this. So thanks.